vacation. We're
Yeah.
trying something different today. We're doing Riverside.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments what you think. If you like this format or you like us sitting next to each other, let us know.
Yeah. We love feedback.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So today we're going to talk about Vanderpump season 11, episode 10. We start out with Katie, Allie, and Lala working out in the park with their friend Scheana. Listen, I mean, these girls are all in really good shape. I don't know that they actually work out. I mean, Lala has said that she does not.
How could she not work out and have that body? Like,
Good
that's
genes.
irritating.
It is irritating.
I guess so.
Good genes, right?
That's crazy.
It is crazy, right? She's talking about how she's doing a water tasting and she's having her water sommelier come over. I mean, only in LA does such a thing exist.
Yes, for sure.
I mean, I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Ariana's looking
I did love that Katie was like not down with the exercising. Like, I'm not a Katie fan, but I was totally there for her commentary about working out.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ariana is looking for an assistant and Anne goes upstairs to tell Tom she's helping Anne. She's helping. Anne works from 11 all day and hangs out even if there's nothing to do. So Ariana is telling Anne what she's looking for in an assistant, and she shows up in like a suit, like in a blazer, in like an interview attire.
Like for a real interview.
Right. And Tom, we see, is kind of upstairs eavesdropping as to what's going on. And he realizes what's happening and he's pissed. He's like, listen, she's taken all my friends and now she's going to take my assistant. I kind of don't blame him, to be quite honest with you.
I don't blame him either. But
yeah.
I mean, if what they're saying, like that she had to like pick up soiled underwear, then like I read that somewhere. That's gross.
I did read that, but I was listening to Kristen Doute's new podcast, and she had on Zach from the Valley, because they're good friends. Like, Zach came from Kentucky and was Brittany's friend, but Kristen and Zach are really good friends. And he was saying that he used to be an assistant. Like, that's something he used to do. And
like when he first moved out to LA?
Yes. And he did way worse than what Anne is doing. So
interesting.
I guess it may be common practice,
Right.
It may be common practice. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Schwartz goes over to Brock and Scheana's and brings another plant. I mean, what is with him bringing these plants? I mean,
I don't know.
And then he brings a hat for Summer Moon, that cute little hat.
That was cute.
Yeah. Ariana goes over to Katie's apartment and they're talking about Anne and what happened and how Anne was crying because Tom came down on her because she was, talking to her about being her assistant, and he told her to go home. She said that.
Why do you think they wouldn't have filmed that if that happened? Well, why wouldn't they have filmed Tom's reaction? They showed him.
Right.
They showed him listening. So why wouldn't they have shown him confronting her about it?
Good question. Unless he waited until they left.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe.
Because they were, they were going someplace else. I don't know. Because, what he says is that he told her that he needed a few days and sent her home. That's what he says when they're at the beach.
Oh, right.
He says that he didn't fire her. But she has since come out and on her podcast, which is I had an NDA, or I have an NDA. I'm not sure which now I hear he may be pursuing the NDA because she's talking about him, which she really shouldn't.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. She should change the name of her podcast because she is not honoring that NDA.
Exactly. Exactly. So,
she's doing a terrible job.
She really is. They talk and then they also talk about Scheana having Max's location. So that's been a big topic since we found out all the locations that Scheana has. But as pointed out by Lala and Scheana and many other people,
You have to agree to it.
You have to agree to it. And you can revoke it
Absolutely.
at any time. And after the episode came out, Scheana said on her podcast, other people have since shared their location with her.
Yeah, like you don't have to share your location. It's just like Venmo. I'm private on Venmo. Nobody needs to see who I'm paying and for what.
Right.
I mean, you have to agree to that. You can turn that off at any time.
Yes, you can. So I there's no need for people to be giving her a hard time about it. That's what I'm saying.
No.
You know?
No. I mean, your kids, I'm sure your kids have their friends on there. I know my kids have their friends on there.
I would imagine they do. I don't really know. I mean, I know.
I think it's like on Snapchat.
Oh, it is on Snapchat. And I know one of my children whose phone I control does not have any location sharing except for with me. But that's because I control it. But the other ones, you do you. I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. And I wonder if it is. It probably is on Snapchat. Or unless they have a map or something.
It's Snap Map. I think that's what it's called. Snap Map.
No, I'm saying, I know on Snapchat you can do it, but I'm saying unless they have a separate app like Life 360, how else are they sharing their location? I would imagine it's probably through Snapchat, like you said. Yeah. So I didn't realize that Lala was doing her water tasting over at Allie and James' house.
It's funny because I feel like Bravo's so shady. They always show the airplanes flying, but this is the second event they're having at James's house.
Yeah.
There was something else there. The girls' night.
He had the pool party there.
He had the pool party, and then she had the girls' night where she did the reading. So I guess that was their events. But so Lala's choosing to have it there too.
Yeah. I mean, maybe because she didn't want to do it at her own place and it was just easier.
Yeah.
Because, I guess at that point she was still living in an apartment and,
Right.
Filming.
Yeah, they have a backyard.
Yeah. It's just easier.
Yeah.
So everyone shows up to that water tasting, the whole crew. Then Martin says that he's the Harry Potter of water. He's the water sommelier, right? The guy who's doing it. And then he
I don't really get the Harry Potter reference, but
I don't either. I mean, but the drinking of the $1,000 bottle of water, the only one in the United States. I mean, how true do we really think that is?
I don't know. I mean, and it's
water
because two springs go into one. That can't be that rare. Springs have to meet up at some point.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. I call bullshit too. And who's paying that? Fucking idiots out there in Hollywood. They have nothing better to spend their money on.
$1,000 bottle of water.
$1,000 bottle of water.
So Ariana, while she's there with Tom, and she is being very, very passive aggressive, making all these comments about him, no matter what he does, she's talking of every move that he makes. He's helping, get the pizza. He's doing this. He's doing that. She's like, why is he doing that? Well, what do you care? Why do you have to comment on what it is he's doing? Right.
I still think it's too soon. Now it's been a year or whatever it's been. Yeah. This is still only 3 months since they broke up. It's way too soon for them to try to coexist out. I know they're still living together, but they can separate themselves. It was way too soon for them to be out with friends together in a space like that.
Yeah.
The bar was one thing because lots of stuff going on, but this was just too. From the breakup.
Yeah. And then the girls are inside.
But she was dating somebody else already.
Absolutely.
She was.
They did try and break it up a bit too, because the girls were inside talking about what was going on with Anne, and then the guys were outside talking, which I thought that was good how they tried to break it up. I liked how Katie came out in the back to talk to Schwartz, and he says to her, "Is there anything you want to talk about?" And she's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, Max is my best friend." And she's like, "Well, you'd been doing this for how long?" And she agrees that she's not going to sleep with any more of his friends, Like I
have
do
to be
like
honest
their
with you,
banter.
though. I do too. I don't think Katie was in the wrong here at
No,
all. I
I don't
think
either.
Max is a giant douchebag and a very bad friend, but I don't think Katie did anything wrong. Fuck that.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I like their banter. I like how they get along, or how they coexist, I should say. I like how they coexist. I thought it was screwed up when Sandoval made the comment about when he came in, when he was listening to them bad mouthing him, and he went off on Ariana. He's like, I thought that our breakup was going to be more civil than Katie and Schwartz's. Well, why would you think that? I mean, Schwartz never did to Katie what you did to Ariana. Like, seriously, are you that much out of touch as to what happened?
I mean, under the circumstances that they broke up, it's like what did you expect?
Yeah.
That was, that's like ignorant. That's ignorant that he said that.
Yeah. I agree. And then, Lala in her confessional, they're arguing about the dog and the food and all that, locking in the room and him going in the room because of the air conditioner. When she said, take out your trash, you did a trash bag commercial. I thought, listen, she's right. She
is right. She should have said it right then and there, though. But
I know.
I think, again, at the time, they were still tiptoeing around Ariana because of the timing. But let me say, and I don't know, I think I might have said it last week, she's a fucking pig, Ariana. That bedroom is disgusting. And if your dog is getting into your leftovers 24 hours or however many hours, listen, 1 hour after you're done eating, and eating in your bed is disgusting enough. 1 hour after eating in your bed, take your trash out because that's disgusting. She does seem very lazy.
Yeah. I don't believe in eating in a bedroom. I don't believe in having food in your bedroom. I mean, but that's just me. You have a whole house. I get it. You're not getting along with him, but there's a kitchen downstairs. Put it in the refrigerator.
That's a big house. There are other rooms for you to go eat in.
Right.
It's gross. She's gross.
Yeah. I also thought it was interesting that the interior designer shows up and she's going through everything and how she's got the itemized lists of everything that was paid for and by who it was paid for and when it was purchased.
Okay, but wait, before we get there.
Okay.
How about Ariana saying at the water thing, he took her dream home away from her for her kids.
Yes.
Are you kidding? You've said since the beginning you don't want kids.
No.
I know you froze
She was referring to her animals. She was referring to her dog and her cat.
That's what she was referring to?
Yes. She was referring to her dog and her cat.
I thought she was really talking about kids. I'm like, I know you froze your eggs, but that bitch has no intention on having kids. Let's be clear.
No, she was talking about
She said it from the beginning.
Well, she now has changed her stance on that since she's with
I know.
Danny. Yeah. But no, she was referring to her animals. She was referring to her animals. Okay. And then she did say,
and I'm not rolling my eyes because I don't think animals should be considered kids because we don't have any animals, but I know that people do consider their animals their kids. I'm not rolling my eyes at that. I'm rolling my eyes at her because I think she's just looking for things to make him look bad. Listen, he's doing a good job of looking bad all on his own.
Oh,
she should just sit back and let him implode.
Yep, I agree. Mm-hmm. And just as he was storming out, Ariana says to Schwartz, "Now I'm mad at you again by association." Like, poor Schwartz. Like he didn't do anything again.
He's collateral damage.
He is. He really is. But he takes it in stride.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, so Lucinda's giving her, telling her that she's got the breakdown of everything that was purchased for the house and who paid for what, which, that's good that she has that. So Ariana can get whatever it is she wants for, her portion of it. Then next they do the beach day, another big disaster. I don't know, what, listen, set up further apart. If you're going to separate, don't put your blankets and tent right next to each other and start talking shit about her.
Well, Brock, again, trying to earn that paycheck. I mean, he's the best dad. He's painting Summer Moon's nails and stuff, but he's messy. And obviously, like I said, I think he's just trying to earn that check.
He is trying to earn that check. But I did hear Andy say that, first of all, we're going to be surprised at the reunion that Brock is actually like very level-headed and like the voice of reason and really stepping up. Like he's very happy with Brock and also Allie. He says that they're going to come out like looking very good at, Yeah,
I mean, and I think he is very reasonable. And I think that he does offer some good advice, but he's also stirring the pot. Nobody else was bringing up that Max and Katie slept together. And what did he say? What did he say this time? Oh, he said something about Sandoval flirting with Raquel, right? Like he brought that up.
He did? Oh, he did? I don't remember that. I know he definitely was like bringing up stuff that, I thought they were talking about the dating thing, that they were going to go to some
brought up something
thing
about Raquel, like, because Sandoval tries to act like he's got no game, which is so non-believable. Brock brought something up about him flirting with, like, is that how you flirted with Raquel?
Oh, yeah. That's right. Because I do remember that they were talking about going to some singles thing, and Schwartz says to Katie, "Oh, you want to come and be my date?" They were all going to go to the singles event.
Yeah. But they clearly, I mean, Ariana and Tom should just not be around each other yet. They probably can right now, but not at this point during filming. But that's another thing about Bravo. Bravo's going to shove those cameras in their faces. So it's at the expense of Tom and Ariana. I know they have to sign up for it, but Bravo's not going to be like, you go take care of your business and then we'll start filming, whenever.
Yeah.
Just like with Jersey, I think it was a huge mistake for them to start filming right away after the last reunion. But we'll see.
We're going to see. I mean, there's a lot of shit coming out about that.
Did you see Rachel crop Teresa in the picture?
I didn't see the picture, but I read about it. But it's not, then I saw other pictures where they have like smiley faces over everybody but Teresa, Jen, and Dolores, because they're not right next to each other, so it'd be too hard to crop out. Like,
Right. Dolores got the middle spot. In that group photo.
She should have the middle spot because she is Switzerland.
It's interesting, though. I wonder what Teresa thought of that.
Oh, I don't think Teresa cares because she doesn't want to be near any of those other girls. For the further away from them as possible.
I think they're individual shots that they put together, though. I don't think they're all standing next to each other when they take the picture.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but I don't think they are.
I'm going to look at it. I'm going to look at it again and see. Even if, I don't even know if we can tell. I mean, not the way Photoshop works nowadays.
I know.
All right. I think that's it for VPR, right? You have anything else?
No, I really don't.
Okay.
I'm good.
So next
halfway through the episode, I was like, it's only halfway through the episode.
I know. Listen,
but that's all right.
I think it's going to get really good. I really think once we get, the finale I hear is amazing. So I'm really looking forward
That's coming up, though. Is the season almost over already?
I think there's 5 or 6 more episodes. Even though we're on episode 10. I think it was a long season. We're on episode 10.
And it's just going to be the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, wow.
All right, so on to the Valley. Episode 3 of the Valley. Jax and Brittany are recapping the girls' night and what Jax did by inviting Alex, Kristen's ex, to the boys' night with Luke there, and how he kind of blindsided him. It was just stupid. It's just so
he's
stupid.
Such a goofball.
He really is. And it's funny because I think I mentioned to you, I listened to their podcast this week, Jax and Brittany, but it was actually Jax and Danny from the Valley.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Danny was actually calling him out on it. Like him and Danny have been friends for a very, very long time. He's calling him out on it. Like, listen, man, like you should not have done that. What you did was wrong. I'm not hanging out with any of my exes. And Jack's like, yeah, but I'm friends with all my exes. He goes, yeah, but that's weird. You are the exception, not the rule. Nia and I have a very good relationship. But if I slept with somebody or she slept with somebody, we do not need to be hanging out with them. There's no need for it.
Right.
And he was making it perfectly clear how he stood on that, which I thought was good. But Jax doesn't listen anyway. He doesn't listen.
No, he's going to do whatever he thinks he has to do to stay relevant and on TV. Did you see the video of Jax and Tom Sandoval? I don't know if Schwartz was there, but they were doing one of the, I don't know if it was Backstreet Boys or NSYNC. I Like It That Way. They were doing that in Jax's bar, and they were dancing and singing. And just watching it, you're like, oh my God, how are these guys ever friends? Because they were so trying to outdo each other. Like Sandoval, really thought he was fucking Justin Timberlake up there. It was so ridiculous. And then there's a third guy doing it with them too, but that guy was just being normal, goofing
like
around.
Karaoke,
but they were so serious about it. Yes. But they just incorporated the dancing, and it did look like it was at Jax's bar. But I say Jax's bar, and it's really not his bar because he put no money into it.
But it's got his name on it.
It's got his name on it, so I guess he's making some kind of money off of it. But it can't be much.
Well, I mean, he was there doing the interview of the employees. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows? Exactly.
Yeah, it's exhausting watching him. So we finally see what the girls were yelling about.
Yes. Yes, we do. What are your thoughts on
now? Well, my immediate thought is that it's a very sad thing that someone in Hollywood can't admit that they're a Republican because they'll be blackballed, and it's what did he say? Kiss of death, a death sentence. What's his name? Zach?
Zach.
He said it's a death sentence.
Here it is.
To me,
Zach said his exact words. If I call someone a Republican in LA, that is the death sentence. That is social suicide moment. You better be on the DL. If you're a Republican, you will not get invited to anything.
That's disgusting. And listen, I'm not saying that I'm a Republican. I'm just saying that that's disgusting. That people in LA or in that surrounding area cannot freely speak their truth, basically. And let's put it this way, people at home. Whether you're Republican or Democrat or liberal or socialist or communist or whatever the fuck you are, these people, these politicians don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you. The Democrats don't care about you. The Republicans don't care about, nobody cares about you. So, to not be able to say that you support a specific party, that's how I feel about that. I think that's terrible because this poor girl might be a Republican. And you know what? That's okay. And it doesn't, just being a Republican does not have to equate to a Trump supporter either.
Right. Exactly.
It's because I think that was thrown in there, right? I'm not making that up. Somebody threw that in there about being a Trump supporter.
Anytime you say Republican, Trump is always thrown in there. Anytime you say it. And it's interesting because, people, when it comes to politics, are so kind of black and white. I kind of equate it to religion. You know how Heather was saying that Lisa is a Mormon 2.0?
Yes.
You could either be it one way or it has to be their way or it's not at all. Same thing with politics. If you claim to be a Republican, you have to believe everything that the Republicans stand for. That's not true. If you claim to be a Democrat, you have to believe everything the Democrats stand for. That's not true. If you claim to be a Catholic,
you can be Catholic and believe in gay marriage. I do.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
You know like,
just because you're Catholic doesn't mean that you don't stand in support of the LGBTQ plus IA community. Like, two things can be true. Everything doesn't have to be so finite, so black and white. And I don't like when they do that. I don't like when they put things in a box. And the people that are usually putting things in a box.
I totally believe what he said. I totally believe that in Hollywood, you will be blackballed. You will be cut off if you say you're Republican. That's why they're all leaving. All these people are leaving Hollywood and starting their own production companies in other states.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I just think it's sad that all these people that are actually putting people in the box are supposed to be the ones that are so carefree.
And open-minded.
And open-minded. And, rules don't really apply to me. But let me just put everybody in a box. Like, it doesn't. They're the ones that don't want to check the box. They don't want a box, but they want to put people in a box. Like, we don't want to check a box as to what our gender is. But if you say you're a Republican, then you're in this box. What?
Right.
I mean, how can that be? It just is. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. I don't agree with that at all. And I'm not saying I'm one side or the other, because I've never declared a party ever. I vote for who I think will do the best job. It's just a shame. And like I said, those pop shit about us.
They don't. And they don't. They really don't. And honestly, I'm going to say this here, and I'm going to say this now. It doesn't even matter who wins this next presidential election. I've said this before. We're fucked either way. And I don't like to curse.
We are fucked.
Honestly.
You really don't. So you must be passionate about this.
I don't. I don't like to curse, but really, that's how I feel. It's like they're both bad. There's not a good option. There's not a good option.
No, if it's who we think it's going to be running, it's terrible, and we're screwed either way.
We are
screwed.
We are. I said it here and I said it now, and I stand by it.
Me too. I stand by your statement.
All right. So next we'll go on to Kristen and Janet. Kristen said that Janet said Michelle is a racist and a Republican. So this just goes back to the whole telephone game too, by the way. This is like the telephone game. You didn't hear it firsthand, and you can't go repeating stuff that you heard from somebody else, because that never goes well, ever.
Right.
Like, when you hear something like that, you need to go to the source immediately, which is exactly what Michelle did.
Yes, she did.
Michelle called.
I really like her.
I do too, because Janet wasn't there, because Janet is pregnant at this time, and for whatever reason she wasn't feeling well or whatever. She wasn't at that dinner when it was brought up. So she's like, I'm going to call her. I'm going to call her and see what she said. I mean, I'm not going to play this game of going around everyone's back and, And the bottom line is, with this whole thing, and believe it or not, I think it's ironic that Jesse was the voice of reason, because I'm not a huge Jesse fan, but Kristen just needed to take accountability and say, listen, I did say this. I was wrong. I apologize. I should not have repeated something that I overheard, whether it was true or it wasn't true. It's not my place to blurt it out. Just apologize. And she wasn't doing that.
No.
She wasn't doing that.
Nope. And then she threw Zach under the bus, and he was pissed. He seemed pissed.
He did seem pissed. But like I said, he was on her podcast the other day. So whatever happened, they're friends again.
Honestly, I think Kristen is the example of somebody who should never be on reality TV. I really don't think she's very stable. I hate to say that, but she's just not. She's just not a very stable person. No,
I mean, she's really what she is, a loose cannon. And she kind of admits it. In her confessional, she's sitting there, she's crying because Jesse, does call her out on it. You were fired. You were fired for being a racist.
Hey, did you see that girl Faith? Did you see that girl Faith is suing Bravo?
And NBC Universal? I sure did. I'm sure it came after.
And I think them putting Kristen back on TV is part of it. Absolutely. I mean, she's also saying that she was, what's the word I'm looking for? She experienced some unfair treatment, and she attributes it to her color. But I do think them putting Kristen back on TV after being fired for what she was fired for is also part of the basis of her filing that complaint.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, why not?
Because we haven't seen Faith since then, have we?
No.
I don't think we have.
No,
right?
she is the one that Jax cheated on Brittany with, right?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so Brittany and Kristen meet up, and they're complaining about how hot it is, yet Kristen's got boots on.
Oh, I didn't pick that up.
Man, pick that up. I mean, dress accordingly.
Yeah, definitely dress accordingly.
They call Zach,
and listen, Zach is messy too.
I think Zach might be a little messy. Yeah, Zach might be a little messy.
Yeah. I mean, I know he was calling out Kristen and Jax, but he's right there.
Yeah.
What about when Michelle and Jesse are meeting with the life coach? They have a life coach.
That life coach was pretty hot.
Yeah. That's their marriage.
He was good looking. I love a bald head. So he had me at bald head. Yeah, that was hard to watch.
It was hard to watch. Scott asked what needs are not being met, and Michelle starts crying and says a lot of her needs aren't being met. And I think it was really hard for Jesse to hear that because, I think he's oblivious. I do think he's oblivious.
I think it's a combination. I think you're right. I think he's oblivious. I think that he's hard on her, and she feels like nothing she ever does is good enough. And I think that happens to a lot of new moms with the fathers. I think there's a huge expectation from the moms, like from the husbands on the wife. They think about their moms and how their mom, and that's fine. But I do think that new moms have a lot of pressures put on them from their husbands. And I think that this is the case here. And, that there's nothing worse than not feeling like you're doing enough, especially when it comes to being a mom.
Yeah, well, he's admitted that he wasn't present. I mean, their daughter's 3 years and 9 months old. I mean, the child is not a baby anymore. And he really wasn't there. And like you just said, she feels like it was all on her shoulders. And even when she explains that, Jesse says to Scott, so if I give her, because he's like, she said, you never compliment me. He goes, okay, so if I compliment her for 2 months, then will things be better? And they're like, no, because you're not doing it you're not getting it. You're not just a complimenter to get what
because then what happens after the 2 months?
Right.
You get laid and then you stop doing it again until you need to get laid again. Like, what are you in not middle school, but high school?
Yeah. He just doesn't get it.
It's very difficult obviously your sex life as a married couple changes from the time when you don't have children to when you have a baby and then a toddler, and like everything changes, and you have to be willing to accept that. Right. I'm not saying that it should never happen, but the frequency is going to be a little less.
Right. Okay, then what do we see next? Janet and Jason are trying to get ready for the baby with the nursery. And
I love Jason, and I think he's a very smart man, but did he really say, well, we don't have to have the nursery done before the baby comes? Did you hear him say that?
I did hear him say that, because what he was saying is that technically the baby's not going to be in the nursery because the baby's going to be in their room. And
I get that, but you want the clothes away. You want the changing table set up. Right. For her peace of mind. Right.
And he conceded to that, for her peace of mind. We'll get it ready, but, technically it doesn't need to be. But,
Right.
By the way, my kids never slept in my room. Me neither. Yeah.
I think Tess did like for a couple of nights in the bassinet, but my house is so small and our bedrooms are so damn close to each other. I put her in her crib, as soon as I could.
I didn't
even really use a bassinet. I think I had one, but I barely used it.
I mean, like my house was very small too. It was 900 square feet when William and Andrew were babies. So
so you're right there.
Yeah, like there's no need for that. But honestly,
no,
I don't think I'd do it even if there was a need for that, because why? I don't know.
No, like why get them used to something and then have to change? Like it's enough to get the binky away from them, to get them off the bottle, there's enough things to do.
Right, exactly. Yep. Okay, so then Michelle, Brittany, and Janet were at dinner a few months ago. And Michelle said something like, don't say gay laws protect children. So this is how this whole thing came up, right?
That's exactly what it comes down to. Yep.
Right? Don't say gay laws protect children. Janet says, no, you are wrong. Janet said she was talking to Jasmine about it because she has read up on this bill. There was some bill that was trying to be passed in California. And I'm sure it's about.
Oh, I thought it was Florida, by the way. I think it was Florida. I don't even think this had anything to do with California yet.
I
thought. I was assuming. I could be wrong.
Listen, I know that there was one in Florida. I was assuming California because that's where they are. But maybe it was the one in Florida. Maybe it was.
I was thinking that maybe because DeSantis was under fire for that. That maybe that's when they were discussing it.
That very well could be. I mean, that very well could be. And so Janet was saying that, that Jasmine has done a lot of reading up on this, that Jasmine knows a lot about this law, that maybe if she overheard Michelle talking about it, maybe that she could educate her on what the situation was. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as Jasmine's name came out, she's like, I want no part of this. And I don't blame her. Why is she getting brought into this whole thing? Right.
And because she said it that night at Michelle's house, leave me out of this. Leave my name out of this.
Don't bring me into this. Right.
Yeah.
So this is even before they get to the dinner, this conversation happens about how this whole thing came out. What perpetuated this, where this whole rumor came up, right? So then they're all going to the hills, to the mansion that Michelle and Jesse.
That house.
Yes, $18.5 million.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous. I also liked it. I laughed when I heard this. Well, Jesse is talking about how they're having a sophisticated, it's a sophisticated night. And Michelle explained that he doesn't need to say sophisticated for it to be sophisticated. And I liken that to the word class. Anytime I feel anyone says the word, oh, that's classy, or isn't that classy? It's not. If you have to say that word,
it almost negates it.
It negates it. And I feel the same way about sophisticated. And when Michelle said that, I was like, ooh, I'm on your page, girl.
And by the way, what is the alternative? You're gonna set this all up and have it not be
right, exactly.
You're trying to sell an $18 million house. It fucking better be sophisticated.
Exactly. And then we meet Jasmine's girlfriend, Melissa, because they're on the way to the party.
She's beautiful. And did you hear where she's from?
Maplewood, New Jersey.
Yep, Jersey girl.
Which is where Jasmine's from, which I didn't know that.
Yeah, they both are, right? Yeah. They both are.
Yeah, which I love that.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
And so Jasmine then, for whatever reason, I guess they must have asked her. She said that she's always been fluid with her sexuality, but if she had to put a label on it, she would say she's bisexual. Again, I don't think we need to put labels on anything. Why? You know, just be you. You don't have to put everything in a box. You don't have to check a box for everything.
Exactly.
And then Janet maintains that she needs Kristen to admit that she made this up. And as we see, that Kristen can't just do that,
It was interesting to hear the backstory from Janet that they had been close, very close, up to what she said about a year ago. And then she started seeing some behavior in Kristen and had to distance herself, which, you know, we saw Katie and Stassi do on Vanderpump also. Like, they had to distance themselves because of her erratic behavior.
I mean, they don't call her Crazy Kristen for nothing.
Yeah, like, she needs some help. Like, her friends need to rally around her. I mean, maybe they have. Who knows? She needs some help, though.
I agree. I 100% agree. I mean, even when she shows up, she hugs Michelle as like nothing had happened and says that, you know, we need to talk when you get a chance. Well, no, not here. Really? No.
Right. Right.
So then they're at dinner. I mean, it kind of comes up immediately. Janet says at dinner, she announces that, you know, Kristen said that I said that Michelle is a racist, and, you know, she puts it all out there on the table, and that's when everything blows up. And, you know, Jesse starts yelling, and then, you know, Luke gets involved because all he has running through his mind is that, how dare you speak to Kristen like that, because you grabbed her nipple. But he knows what she did. Kristen told him what she did. You know, he knows what happened. So, I mean, I like that he's standing by her side, but really, like, that wasn't the way to do it. It really wasn't. I mean,
no, and I do think that he was being protective because of how Jesse went. I mean, Jesse flew off the handle, but he flew off the handle protecting his wife.
Right. Exactly. So,
honestly, it's a big pissing contest. It's a big whose dick is bigger, basically, contest between Luke and Jesse at this point.
It definitely was.
We're losing focus on where this started.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
And then, you know, Jesse really goes low with Kristen and says, "Listen, you were fired in 2020 for being a racist." And the exact date was June 9th, 2020, because then Kristen, in her, you know, confessional, you know, says that was the worst time of my life. I really spiraled. Okay, well, did you learn anything from it?
If that's true, then why are you trying to do it to somebody else?
Right, exactly.
Somebody who was your good friend.
Exactly.
Why are you doing that?
Exactly. That's exactly.
I mean, and what is her ethnicity? She's Mexican and Michelle, I'm saying. Mexican
Michelle.
and
I forget, but he did say.
I know, it's like on the tip of my tongue, and I thought I wrote it down. But anyway.
I did not write it down. Yeah. I know.
What are the Shahs? Persian.
Okay.
I believe it's Mexican and Persian. I believe. But, I mean, not saying that not anybody could be racist, but listen, I don't think the poor girl is racist. I think that she may be a Republican, and that should not equate her to a racist.
Right. Also, it should not equate her to not supporting the LGBTQ plus IA community just because she may or may not be a Republican.
Exactly.
And, you know, I don't know.
Like, can we just stop with the nonsense?
Yeah. Really. I wish people could just see people for who they are and just be kind, because this didn't have to happen. Kristen is the one who started this whole thing. She's the one who started this whole thing.
And she's playing victim.
Yeah, always. That's her favorite flavor.
Yeah, that's her MO,
Is playing victim. I mean, I don't think her and Stassi talk at all anymore.
I don't think so. And isn't it amazing that because on Watch What Happens Live, Andy asked Brittany if she was in a better place with Stassi after not going to her wedding, and she said not really. I'd love to know the backstory. I mean, listen, you're choosing to get, and I like Stassi, and I love her husband, but you're choosing to get married in another country. Not everybody can just throw that money around. And Brittany and Jax weren't on a show at the time. Like, maybe they weren't comfortable saying we can't afford it, but maybe they really couldn't afford it.
Yeah, but I don't, is that the reason that they're not in a good place? Is it because they didn't go to the wedding, or is
It's
it
because
something
of the
else?
wedding, but I don't
But
know. No, it's because, I mean, that's what Brittany said, but I don't know if there was something else underlying. But the wedding, I believe, was I don't like to use this, the nail in the coffin. I hate using that expression, but.
okay, well, you don't have to use it.
I know, I should have just said something else. The breaking point, the breaking
Okay.
point.
But you
I
know
hate
what?
that expression.
So I do remember kind of vaguely when the whole thing was going on with the wedding. I think, and I could be wrong, I think that it was a last minute. They decided not to go after they said they were going.
Yes, I do think that.
That's a different story when you know how expensive it is and you know that the plans have to be made and things are paid for. Again, like
Yeah,
that's a different story than just saying up front, you know, we can't
we can't
afford to
swing it.
go.
We
Right.
got a kid. We're
But
trying to buy a house.
if you said, okay, we're going, and then at the last minute said, oh, no, we can't go after,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's what happened. I do think that they pulled out last minute. So, I mean, maybe it had something to do with, oh, no, they didn't film Stassi's wedding. Her wedding wasn't filmed, right?
No, because she was off. She was off the show, too.
Okay. So it had nothing to do with filming. Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to know the real story, though. Somebody, please let us know.
Well, Stassi actually she just signed up with Dear Media. That's the same podcast company that does Scheana's podcast. So Stassi is because I don't know who was doing hers before, but she's rebranded her podcast also, and it's got a whole new look
Okay.
and a whole new name. And now she's part of the Dear Media family. Maybe we should reach out to Dear Media and see if they would like to sponsor us.
I think we should.
Give us a podcast. We'll talk about other stuff.
I think we should.
I mean, we do talk about other stuff.
We do talk about other stuff.
I know.
Are we ready for hot topics?
Oh, sure. I didn't write anything down.
Do you have anything else on the Valley?
I think just what I mentioned to you already about the I texted it to you.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Did you have anything else about the Valley?
Oh no.
Okay. Oh yeah, what did you say?
What did I text you? Do you remember?
I'm gonna look right now.
Oh, I know. Okay, here it is. Ariana's brother, Jeremy Maddox, just recently got engaged to his girlfriend, Rachel, and Jax and Brittany were there because I heard this on the podcast from Jax. Danny was supposed to go, and Danny backed out the last minute on Easter to go. They were going to brunch someplace in Malibu, and he backed out the last minute because he was sick and the kids were sick. Jax thought he was, kind of just faking it, but he in fact was sick because he was there for the podcast like a day or two later. But Jax is still friends with Jeremy, and he was there for the engagement, and he was like a part of it, I believe. And then Scheana said on her podcast that a couple days later, she was with Jeremy, and they took a picture together, and they toasted his engagement. She had a bottle of champagne. He came over to her new house, and she toasted, and that she's still friends with him. Like, she spent many holidays with him. Like, they are still friends.
And who is that?
Jeremy Maddox.
With who?
Ariana's brother. With Scheana.
With Scheana. Okay. But he doesn't speak to Ariana?
He does not speak to Ariana. And he has reached out to Ariana, but she has not reached out to him. She hasn't responded to him. He's texted her, but she hasn't responded to him.
That is interesting, huh?
Yeah. So I'm not sure what it's all about exactly. Oh, I know what it's about. No, right. I do know what it's about. So what it's about is, this is what he said. These were his words that I read. Ariana was not very nice to his then girlfriend, now fiance, Rachel. She was kind of passive aggressive towards her, and he had to make. He was standing up for her at Ariana. At one point, he was taking Ariana's side, but then I guess it came down to it's either her or me, and he chose her.
Good for him.
So
I mean, I hope it works out for him.
I do too.
I'd love to know what the beef was between them. Like why did Ariana not like her? She must have had some kind of reason. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but she must have had some kind of reason.
Yeah, I don't know. That's my hot topic there.
Well, I have a couple, but the first one's very sad. I hope I want to offer condolences. Lori Peterson's son Josh passed away. So Lori Peterson, of course, was one of the first Real Housewives of OC.
Yeah.
And we saw very early on when, that poor kid was only like 16, probably when she started filming, and he struggled with substance abuse. And I think he was 35. He was in his 30s and he passed away on Easter Sunday.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's terrible. Yeah. Offer her condolences.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I just brought this up because of everything going on with Diddy and, the Nickelodeon thing. I read or watched a YouTube on Scott Baio.
Oh.
And how he was very inappropriate with Nicole Eggert while he was on Charles in Charge.
I heard that.
And she was sitting on his lap one time, and then the younger brother, played by Alex Polinsky, was so little, and he thought that was what they did, and he sat on Scott Baio's lap, and Scott Baio threw him off of his lap and started yelling, saying you're gay, and that's disgusting. And this poor kid went on to have bad issues because of how Scott Baio treated him on that set. And it really comes down to Scott Baio's inappropriate behavior, really.
Absolutely. I saw that. And I saw that Nicole was standing by him and speaking out with him to support him.
The young man.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It's very sad. And, here you think these guys, Scott Baio, everybody had a crush on him when we were little, and not a good person.
No.
How about the Shah's Mike Shuhad?
Is it Shuhad
and
or Shoeed?
The video of him, Shoeed.
I don't know.
The video of him physically abusing his fiance.
Oh,
did you see the video?
I did not.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's got hands on her.
Paulina. That one? Paulina.
He looks like a real mean motherfucker in that video. Yep.
I mean, I didn't see the video, but it doesn't surprise me. He definitely had anger issues.
Yep.
It's sad.
So hopefully he goes to jail, because I believe he was charged with assault and battery.
And how recent was that?
That was very recent, I believe, within the past few weeks. I don't think that's...
Oh, it happened recently or it came out recently? Because I thought they had broke up a while ago.
I think it happened recently, but I could be wrong. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's just coming out now, but why? Why would it just come out now?
Maybe because she's had enough. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. We need to find that out, though.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll look into that more.
Yeah.
And the last thing I had was, Wendy Williams and Diddy. Wendy's been trying to tell us about Diddy for a long time, apparently. She had a compromising picture of him down in Florida with another man back in the 90s, and he basically got her fired from Hot 97, and then sent some girl group who Candy's promoting right now on her Instagram. Total, that girl group, basically had them go threaten Wendy at the studio, at the radio station. She said in 2015 on the Wendy Williams show that Puff was controlling Cassie. And then all of a sudden in 2017, he shows up on the show and they squash their beef, and he tells her how proud of her he is and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
But Wendy's been trying to tell us about Puff.
I think a lot more is going to come out. Come out about that. I think we're going to find out more.
For sure.
So what else do we have? So Candace is not coming back to Potomac.
I'm going to miss her. Oh, I did watch the reunion though. I didn't watch all season. I got to be honest with you.
That's okay.
I just can't stand Giselle and Robin. I can't fucking stand them.
I know. I watched the whole season and I watched the reunion, but I didn't take notes on any of it. So, yeah. I mean, I agree with you, but Robin's gone too. Robin's not coming back.
Robin got fired. Fine. Yep. Listen, you can't lie straight to Andy Cohen's face and think you're keeping your job. You're not bringing that much. You're lying. You're not bringing anything to the show except accusations on other people's husbands that are unfounded. And meanwhile, your husband's swinging his John around left and right.
We're calling it a John now.
Oh, I used the F word a couple of times. I figured I wouldn't say the D word. Try to
funny. Clean it up.
Balance it out.
Okay. So, and then Karen was arrested for driving under the influence after her.
Now that happened after the reunion, right? So they're not going to bring that up at the reunion.
They're not going to bring it up at the reunion, but I'm very curious to see what happens with that because her statement afterwards was ridiculous. You know, she was kind of blaming it on her mother and, you know, mourning her mother and she was distracted. No, you were intoxicated and you shouldn't have been driving. And, you know, there's no reason for it. And it doesn't
sound like this is the first time she's gotten pulled over for driving under the influence.
Well, she didn't get pulled over. She crashed.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
She was in a crash. She was in a car crash. And she declined the breathalyzer, which is, from what I understand, it's easier to get out of it if you don't do the breathalyzer. But if she went to the hospital, I don't think she did, though, because I don't think she was injured. I was going to say if she went to the hospital, they could do a blood draw, but I don't think she did.
Yeah.
And something else. Oh, Mia. I think Mia is the star of the season for Potomac this past season.
Yeah, but she's messy. I mean, I understand her husband was aware of what was going on. Well, I mean, come on, she came on the show. She's been sleeping with her high school sweetheart her whole marriage, and you come on the show and basically make it like, you know, you have this perfect marriage with this older man. I mean, she lied too, basically.
I don't think she lied.
She didn't. She was on a reality show and she had a whole other life going on.
They had an agreement. The agreement was that you don't embarrass me and you don't let it come out in public. And, you know, she didn't let it come out in public until after he was getting, you know, she'd already separated from him at that point. I mean, when they were in therapy, she had said that she was, you know, going to file. She met with a lawyer to file for divorce.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and even when, I mean, you did see the last episode where they picked the cameras up again and they were in the apartment and he had locked her in. I mean, he'd locked her in the apartment, wouldn't let her leave. You know,
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, that's a bit controlling. Like, listen, he's no angel. And she said, you know, he's a good father. He's a good father. He knew what the story was. She didn't lie about that. And she was very open.
Yeah, but why the reality show? Like, why are you on a reality show if this is your reality? You're not going to share it. So what are you doing? It's just all like false advertisement. She's just a big liar, in my opinion. And this guy thinks that her son is his. She told somebody in one of the scenes that she had to do IVF for that kid. So where are you going? Like you're just a liar.
Oh, she had to. I didn't know that.
I didn't catch that either. But I saw a post on Instagram that there's a scene where I don't know if they're getting pedicures or something, and I forget who she's even with. It might be Wendy. And she said that she had to do IVF. So what are you doing? You're just a big old liar. And I get it. You know, it's not like it used to be. Like the first season of OC was the best to me because it was truly their lives. And, you know, now it's turned into something much bigger. But if that's your reality, that you're sleeping with your high school sweetheart, and whether your husband's okay with it or not, don't go on a reality show unless you're going to make that part of your reality.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. You're given this opportunity, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot changed for her. I mean, they had the whole aligned, or what is it called? The joint
The
chiropractic. I mean,
joint. There
they
was one in
lost all
Wall.
that. I know. I mean, they lost a lot. I mean, so listen,
Yeah.
at least she admitted it. Like when it came out, like she admitted it when the marriage was
Yeah.
over. Robin is still maintaining that her husband's not doing anything when everybody knows that he
Oh.
is. And she knows it. And we all
Even
know she knows it. Like, that's what I
even
call.
Tess was sitting with me watching the reunion. Tess has never probably ever watched a show of Potomac. And she was like, what is wrong with her? I'm like, oh, it's a mess. Like she just deflects, comes after other people's husbands. I'm curious to see what happens tonight, because tonight they're gonna bring Chris out, Candace's husband, and they're gonna talk about supposedly some dick pic he sent to some woman.
Oh, but she retracted.
But there's
it.
Robin. The woman retracted the dick pic?
Yes, she said that it wasn't. She said that she lied about it.
So did that happen after the reunion was filmed?
No, I think that I don't think so. I think that's what we're going to see.
Okay.
I don't think so. We're gonna. I guess we'll wait and see what happens tonight.
How about Giselle laughing when Candace started crying? I mean, Candace is a crier. She just cries. I'm a crier.
Yeah, I mean, they're genuine tears. It's not like they're fake.
Right. And Giselle starts laughing like, fuck you.
Yeah, I'm not a Giselle fan. I really never was.
Wow.
I feel bad for her daughters.
I do too. And listen, the whole death threat thing, I'm on Candace's side there. Like, it's not her fault you're getting death threats. You're in the public eye. You could get death threats about anything. If she's feeling a certain way about you, you're on a show together, she can say whatever she wants.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, wow.
I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
I do not.
Okay. Thank you for watching and listening to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.